Hello, welcome back to Upstate New York. We've got the final match of Power Esports Conference action in the regular season. The University of Nebraska Lincoln, Big Red takes on the Syracuse Orange. What's going to be our final? Like I just mentioned, matchup of the year. But I'm Carson Cass, joined by you, Nathan, and Megan Townheimer.
Oh, hi everybody. This is my first time on the desk. Happy to be here. I'm actually the assistant director of esports. I'm stand-in for today. Hopefully you can get my seal like when I was in college. I actually competed in this title, first ever varsity team. Despite it for esports.
That's awesome. Beats me in every sense of the word. I played a lot of Overwatch, none of it competitively. I was the ultimate catcher. Lucio Ball was my highest master. I love Lucio Ball. Anyway, gonna more and more action just like that we've seen all season. The Syracuse team is 3-2 in the 3 seeds right now. This is the last game. All teams in Power Esports Conference play. They win 3-0 tonight. They move to the 2 seed in Las Vegas. They lose 0-3. I think there's a chance of going down to the 4 seed. I believe there's no real chance of going down like negative 7-point differential, so we'll probably do 3 or 2 tonight, and we can play once we get to Las Vegas, and that tournament going on there. More information coming later out on the stage, because it shows that the Sin City is going to be nothing short of spectacular.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited to be there. Our teams are really excited to be there. We just made the announcement today, and everyone's super excited to get down to Sin City, so we're looking forward to it.
Well, those surprises for the fans back home and for our today, so we'll have to really see how we get into it, but the same old roster as you guys know. Lunar, Lucas, Caesar Harry, Speed Steve, St. Jackson. That sounds like that was one name, St. Jackson. And Max, Emmy is going to be on the sub, of course, at TPS. The Syracuse team is well-rounded, well-built, solid in action, winning a 5-game matchup against USC, what we thought was going to be the end of their on podcast play, but it was not. Back after spring break, they're getting their sea legs. I just told you you're using it. As we go through towards Vegas, which is in the first weekend of April, so obviously stay tuned for that. But the Syracuse team looking to get a 3-0 win tonight to try and move themselves up and maybe get a bye.
Yeah, I know they're really excited about it. I'm talking to the coach earlier today. They that's usually what I find my wardrobe being.
Welcome back to upstate New York. Hope you brought your popcorn because we're watching the Cornhuskers take on the Syracuse Orange here. Battle of the Foods in the Power Esports Conference. What do you like better, corn or orange?
I think I'm more of a fan of oranges myself. I'm very partial to clementines, so I think I'm going to put my horse behind the Syracuse Orange here today.
Fun fact, I'm afraid of horses, and I don't like clementines. So 2 little fun facts about me there for your final regular season game. I'm not sure why I said that I'm afraid of horses. This will be used against me immeasurably by the production team that you are watching put this beautiful show on tonight. A big thank you to them throughout the regular season. I am a big fan of thanking those people, despite whether they want me to or not. But yeah, I mean, a lot of hands go on behind the scenes here. This is a wonderful program. You got obviously the beautiful space that's behind the camera right now, normally in the background, but Shine Gaming and Esports Center, you have to check it out if you're a student. If you're not a student, if you get the chance to check it out, you should 100%. It, to me, is a crown jewel of collegiate and even just general esports.
Yeah, and we're getting sunk into it now. We're popping into Busan as our first map here today. We're really excited to see what we got going on.
Yeah, the beautiful Adirondack Mountains in the back right there. You're seeing it's Syracuse, obviously, of course. So that's
could be
just what you're seeing. I mean, this is not Nebraska. That is way too much hill.
All right, let's see what we got going on today.
Big Red, obviously hailing out of Lincoln, west side of that state. This team has not yet played the Orange. This will be their first time matching up. Both of them are competing for the final few slots in, well, not the final few slots, kind of still looking for their seeding. Everyone's so close in the Overwatch seeding that it's kind of who's going to get that 1 through 7 seed, who's going to get that 1 through 6 seed. What are you going to do to get there? And Syracuse stays the same if they are not 3-0 them tonight. And if you listened earlier right before we went to break, this team does not like to 3-0 teams or get 0-3'd. They will take a map off you, or you will take a map off them. It is a never-ending cycle of very long, very long games. But right into it here are a bit of some interesting team comps.
Oh yeah, we got Brig and Juno for our supports here on the Syracuse side.
Yeah, and Juno is a interesting character because you kind of have to match up a Juno together. Not a lot of Soldier we've seen so far, but A's are going to start on that Soldier. One of the main reasons they are 3-2 and have won those games in the spring is Azer. Azer fighting in the back corner with Sojourn, goes down to sometime 1984. Back up top is Speed Glasses in the backside there, and a Hanzo. You don't see that too often. Nebraska Lincoln with a really unconventional pick here of Sigma, Hanzo, and Sojourn.
They're able to stabilize here just a bit. They did go down one character, but they are able to stabilize so they can start putting the pressure on the point. And even with losing a point, they were able to actually take that objective even though they lost one.
Syracuse has been doing a very good job playing Moneyball, doing a lot with just a little. Back into the corner of Sigma, they go down. St. Nazer get 2 together. Pushing into the Hanzo is Lunar. Lunar kind of just distracting while the other team takes up business. Speed Glasses gets 2, Azer 1 more, and that's a team kill.
And what a team kill right there for our Syracuse Orange. They have a lot of tempo going into this next fight. All the ults are above 50%. Juno the only one lagging behind, but we'll be following up right after.
Yeah, more on that Juno counter pick. The ult is so good from Juno's end, and you kind of have to just go with it, but the tank goes down immediately. Lunar kind of stuck out a bit forward and gets stunned and goes down. Fancy going to get rid of a healer. Syracuse likely to back off here. Not much they can really do here. Just going to let Nebraska have the point, but they're up to 50% already.
Oh my goodness. The ults are coming online for Syracuse as well as Nebraska, so this next fight will have a lot of tempo going for both teams. Just needing to kind of stabilize here and get right back into that objective.
Going forward is M3. That's Max on the healers, along with Jackson, have been the backbone of the support line all season long. And you will see them likely hear a lot about them once they go down to the Sin City. Southwest should see a lot of domination from those two of the best supports in this conference. And Lunar just going to charge forward with the help of the team. They get one, have the ult, not going to use it just yet. Hanzo on that right end, pushes back towards the team. They're all stuck behind the drum. Forward is Lunar, going to use the ult here. Speed Glasses gets 2 in that ult. Distracted by Lunar, but Lunar gets 2 themselves.
Oh my goodness, and they were able to take that fight with very little resistance, and they will be going into this next encounter with 2 ults online against, looks about 3 for Nebraska, so there is some good tempo here, but we have to wait and see how the tempo is kind of pulled here.
Yeah, RAM not very commonly used in the Power Esports Conference. It's kind of interesting why. I don't really know why. Just not a lot of RAM players, as you're seeing Azer there on the left side of your screen. Glorious, glorious.
Oh, and what a pick from the back line with Azer getting a pick on the Brig, and then it closes out the whole team. That's a great team fight. The tempo has been really swung into Q's favor.
That was just, I mean, happy St. Patrick's Day. They just got flattened into a baked potato on that other end. Syracuse just dominating in that back line, and that's going to give you the win there. Speedglasses has free reign in that space. Pushing forward now is the Nebraska Lincoln team trying to make their final pushes. They've got 2 ults. Here comes the Juno ult. Max can't match it, unfortunately. Europa going to get
point.
They're not going to get on point just yet. They have 1 second. They
got
will.
1 contest.
Overtime matchup here. Azer pushing forward. Azer backing off. The Hanzo chasing. Or rather, it's the Genji now. Making chase. Fancy going to get Azer in the back line, but the rest of the team struggling on point. All they've got is Sigma. Have to go back. And Fancy going to get the 4K, secure the point for Nebraska. Oh my goodness. And that's very good Genji play.
Yeah, Nebraska was able to take a lot of space there and get a lot of lots of space there for their team. We did have a Genji swap with Q's. A lot of ults were used, so going into this next encounter, next fight, we will be a little bit low on ults, but we will be building here. Looks like Q's might be the first up on the ult plate.
Yeah, they should have the advantage here going in with 99%.
Big pick.
They just need to win as, yes, down goes the Brig. Support lost. All tier 4, Lunar. Sometime going to get one in the back line, though. They're even on supports, pushing away. They're kind of just everywhere, but together they need to group up if you're Nebraska Lincoln here. Lunar able to pick off Fancy Y themselves. Sigma alone with no back line. They go down. Lunar taking over this game, and it should be game. Right here is Lunar just, I mean, that's domination on the point right there. Talk about space, and they took that space, and it's just theirs. It's theirs now. It's theirs.
I mean, the great off angles, honestly, that Syracuse was able to pull off during that half was really what sold it for them. Whenever there was someone that crept into their back line, they really didn't have anyone to answer for it. And so when Azer would go around that like right or left side and get that pick, it was just really over for Nebraska. They didn't have a way to kind of come back from that. They honestly should have started expecting it, but it really didn't look like they were.
Yeah, there was no answer, and I mean, switching off Hanzo was their answer, but that wasn't a, I mean, they got the question wrong still. Azer, really good job in the back line, but also your Speedglasses hitting that dash and just kind of going above and just picking damage off for Azer before they get into the support line. You're going to see a lot of Sojourn play from Speedglasses now. I believe that's what Syracuse's key can be. As long as they control the back line, do a good job contesting it, they can force that team to look the wrong way as Lunar just kind of pushes forward, takes up so much attention. And I mean, when you have a good tank like Lucas, it's really nice.
Yeah, and I see we got a switch here from the team of Nebraska. We do have Reaper and I can't remember his name. What is the big guy's name?
Oh, Mauga? Yeah.
Mauga. There we go.
Azer going to get rid of the Sojourn. 2 down, though, for the Orange. They lost the support and a tank. Not a winning recipe. Kitchen nightmare, if you are the Orange right now, is not much can be cooked. Losing your head chef there in the form of your tank. Pushing forward, though, is Mauga. Mauga can take so much damage, which is what you're seeing there.
Oh, yeah.
Should be maybe a counter pick.
Yeah, we did see a swap for our own Mauga on our side. The picks are really, really looking good for the team of Nebraska right now because they are having a lot of ult advantage here, getting a lot of percentage in this. Their comp that they kind of selected for this half of the Busan map is actually really, really good because they can really take advantage of those tight spaces and those like really tight corridors. The Reaper is a really good pick for shredding those corridors. Yeah,
Mauga himself is a Reinhardt wall in a way where it's just you have so much. Your character is so big and can take so much punishing that you just are ready on point. And Lunar gonna slam down a headshot squish of the Sojourn. Azer gonna get one in the chaos. Same with Shromo. Support goes down on both sides. Kind of just a battle of who can survive longer. And Azer's gonna get that question ready for the Orange. A double kill, and Lunar gonna get the last. Beautiful stuff from the Orange. Those team kills. Done without a lot of support. When a support goes down for the Orange, it seems like it's not that big of a problem. They tend to get Nebraska in a few moments.
Yeah, it's that tempo that they're really, really captivating the audience with, is being able to get those percentages, get those kills. They do have a huge entrance, though, for Nebraska. Oh, no.
That's it. Ult right there coming out from Their other side,
Oh,
no,
no.
they lost it. That's
There
going to
we
be
go,
2
no,
outs. Speed Glasses and Azer gets 1. Fancy going to go down, and rather Fancy gets our
Big
support. Speed
picks.
Glasses, just another right click and another headshot. Aurora? I'm going to go Aurora. Goes down as Shromo, the final and last player to go down on the Nebraska side, and another successful defense from the Orange, using those choke points, letting them out at the right time, and kind of capitalizing on that back line, not having any support. Again, Nebraska just can't turn around. They won't move the mouse. They're 90 degrees to the right.
Yeah, I was really starting to think, though, for a second, because they have been having some really aggressive pushes, which I really think they really need to start doing. But their pushes are a little bit chaotic. They don't seem to have a whole lot of thought as to where they're going with those pushes. It's they go in, they shoot, and they don't score.
What a beautiful charge from Lunar. If you are looking to learn how to play Mauga, that is exactly it. Their Mauga pushes out, and Lunar just goes, okay, I'm going to go into your undefended team now, and kind of just turns them all into a fine corn panini, unfortunately, for the Nebraska side. Lunar now has ult. That is you don't have to use ult in that case at that point because of how well they just played that. And just now on the other side, same thing going to go on here. Wouldn't be surprised to see an ult. They will. Won't go down, though, unfortunately, as Lunar dies in the chaos. Azer going to get one. Seeing uncontested in the back line is Brig, the only one there along with Sojourn. Just drawing attention away from the rest of the team as Speed Glasses gets one. Max gets one more. Brig goes down on that other side for Nebraska, pushing into the back line again as Azer. Look, there's nobody here other than them, but look at that.
That's all he really got to do. That's all he had to do.
Sojourn still goes down in that chaos because Sojourn is just, they've got the right click. Speed Glasses, that's a snipe, and that's typically an aiming, typically a sure shot from Speed Glasses. I apologize, goodness me.
No, that was absolutely insane. I think the push really was lost there on the side of Nebraska when Azer was able to kind of hold the attention of the team backline. Their support in one of their DPS was stuck looking behind, while the rest of their team was just mulched in the front line.
I mean, Lincoln, if you're Lincoln right now, you are a bit upset. You have one good successful push on that map, and then Syracuse learns what you do, counter picks, and just kind of turns you into, like you said, mulch. And you are now a decoration on the front lawn, unfortunately. And that was just really, really good counter pushes from the Orange. You saw how decimated that backline was, and that just led to the Orange being able to take an infinite amount of space. We're off Busan now. That's the first map of Control. We'll be going now to Payload, I believe, or into a Payload Control map, whatever, Kings Royale.
Control Payload, and I think we're probably going to be going to one of the all-time favorites of the Overwatch community. I think it might be Kings Row.
It's a favorite, but it is their pick. Kings Row is a common one. If they've been scouting, they will know not to play Syracuse on Kings Row. I believe they are not 3-0, or I believe they are 3-1, and they typically always put up a fight even when they lose. It is a very hard time to beat Syracuse. Azer and Speed Glasses have notorious late game clutches for this team. Great ults in the end. Had a 5K Genji Blade in that matchup against, I believe, the other Ohio State earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And you're seeing so much of the DPS go on the other end. But, I mean, Syracuse has been very, very tough to beat on that map, and I would be surprised if they see it, but no map pick yet for Nebraska Lincoln as they try and recover. That's a tough one to get by and over.
Yeah, it was a really tough one. Again, I think that if Nebraska learns anything, I really hope that they learn to start watching their off angles. The off angles were really got them in this set so far. I think we're going to be able to see some of it here now.
Yeah, and what you're watching is Lunar pushing forward, just having the ability to do so because the backline is so threatened by Lunar's tank. Lunar is so threatening because Speed Glasses and Azer are not turning around looking at them.
Yeah.
You have to turn around. Saint there, really good support, obviously, just pushing on that Brig, making damage. Lunar just on that one there. Complete takeover, this wins the game. Hits the right click and just smashes the face of a Sigma. Lots of good play from Lunar as well.
Yeah.
Initial push. See that play later on. Azer again.
Just doing some awesome off-angling stuff. And, you know, we see a lot of really good tank play from our team here, but I think that the tank play is really enabled by the support the tank player being able to just say, I trust you supports, you guys will not let me die. And our supports are saying, no, you're not going to die. Get in there, bud.
Yeah, it's a well-oiled machine as we head down towards Kings Row. We'll be going to the UK, as I feel like we always do. I don't think we've had a map away, but obviously there were bans last game. I'm not sure who there was banned. I did not catch that, actually, but I mean, Syracuse played all their normal characters, so I guess it was Nebraska. looking at who they didn't want to play. But yeah, I mean, if they've sounded the Syracuse team, they probably wouldn't have picked Kings Row, but also that might be your best map. It's a very common map, one of the longest lasting, I mean, not competitive maps, but map that is beloved by most of the community.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you see strange strategies there. You've got the Widow there. That's not common. It's just a lot of fun, and it's kind of like a having fun competition on Kings Row, it feels like.
Yeah, because that first point is really, you have to kind of bunker down because the respawn point is so far away from where that initial objective is. If you don't hold that point and you can't have staggered deaths in such a way, you're going to lose it. So your game plan really does shift from how you control first point versus the payload section for the rest of the map. So I'm really excited to see what they decide to pick out for this because, again, it's such a dynamic map because of how it's structured. It's one of the more interesting kind of designs that Blizzard has for their maps of having that control point then into payload.
It really feels like, I couldn't really describe it previously because it looks like a League of Legends map top down. And now that Deadlock came out, it's like you're playing Deadlock.
Oh, yeah.
You've got two supports typically stuck at those red angles right where those lanes end on that left and right side. And you've got DPS kind of managing it and kind of going back and playing a very weird subsection where you've got a lot of places you can play if you're DPS on both sides. You've got a lot of places to pay attention to. It's the ultimate team fight map, I think, and it switches from that initial control point, which is a very heavy lockdown control point, to you have a lot of angles once you go down to the other side. It's a tunnel. You're basically playing defense in the subway system of New York is kind of the best way I can describe it. A lot of walls, a lot of right angles, very much like you're going through an alleyway. And it's a really good design by Blizzard. I credit where credit's due. This is one of the best maps in this game, and I think it's my personal favorite. I'm not sure if it is the best map in the game to a lot of people, but personally, I mean, this is well designed. Syracuse is a monster when they get towards the end. That ending point is a kind of a mirror of the previous point too. It's really interesting how this game is played and how different it is depending on where you are on this map as we get a fly under.
The classic fly under, of course, here on Kings Row. But yeah, I think like one of the more interesting things too, especially when you have that second point between once you've captured the objective and then you're going into the next checkpoint right there, you can see on the flyover, is that there's really only two good hold points, right at the very beginning under the arch and then right here at the beginning of the factory works. So it's really interesting to see how teams like to approach those different scenarios. And I'm really excited to look at what our team comps are and what we have going on here today.
Yeah, timing often works out to where that section where you can't really hold as a defense just becomes the who can hit Q the most, actually. And it becomes a alt off. And typically whoever has more alts loses somehow. I don't know how that works. It's normally the team alting first and taking advantage of that. I mean, the counter alt is just better, I feel like, on that section there because you get the last response, you get the answer back, and there's not much anything else really can do. You're kind of just playing team deathmatch in that section. It's a very weird map comparatively. I don't think they've gone any really direction like this in any of the other payload maps. Feels very different, refreshing, not a lot of open space, but, you know,
we're getting sunk into it today. We got Orisa for our tank here for Syracuse, with a Magua for Nebraska. So I'm really excited to see what the kind of setup here is here. Q's is playing a bit back.
Yeah, it's fairly common for the Orange to play here because they get more space with that Orisa. They have to force their tank to move forward, which allows that backline to open in a great...
What an ante. Wow. Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's just perfect right there as Max finishes off Mauga and the push is delayed. You have to wait now another 25 seconds basically for your tank to get back and grouped up. Fancy goes down, Syracuse with these picks, and that's why they like playing back here, is they get much more space and they play those longer distance characters like Ana, like Pharah, like Ashe, and I mean, I guess Orisa is probably the longest range tank you can get, and it's, I mean, it's perfect for the Orange and how they play, and this is exactly why. I mean, you're seeing just how much fun they're going to have here, as they are, I mean, this is basically them trying new things, trying to see how it works with their old strategies.
We do see a switch off from the Widow for Nebraska. I think they got on to Sojourn instead. Oh, that was that was a little bit hairy.
I was that is hairy. I was holding my breath right there. That was nearly very bad for Speed Glasses there. Pushing forward now, Orisa can just take space, and I mean that's
big.
That's an overextension by Juno there. That's not what you want to do. And because the Mauga was up there by themselves, Juno had to overextend and just went down. And what a spear from Lunar! The Olympics are calling. Jeez.
And we got a pick in the back line here. Oh my goodness. We do see a lot of ults starting to come online for Syracuse, and Nebraska really is suffering right now. The ult percentage is just not comparable to what Q's has online. We do see another ult swap. It's not looking good for Nebraska right now.
Yeah, D.Va is an interesting pick here. I haven't seen a lot of D.Va on Kings Row, especially, I mean, not at this level, but in the Power Esports Conference. It's not too common. I think we've just seen, just kind of based on chance, you have 8 or 7 tanks rather playing. I mean, it's just going to be like that, and another great anti forces that D.Va back, and down goes a support and a DPS for the Nebraska side, and oh my goodness!
That javelin!
Crushed into a panini on the sidewall there. Aurora goes down, down goes Ash. Oh my gosh, and you're just going to see, I mean, this is a steamrolling on all accounts with how well the Syracuse team is playing. And you know, you might as well get hot now as you go towards the end of the season. That's what they say. That's how those 10 and 18 teams make it to March. And obviously March Madness coming up, so I mean, you get hot at the right time. You shock the world.
Yeah, and right now we're seeing 2 ults coming online. We do have our first death on the side of Syracuse right now. 2 down. Oh no!
Oh my gosh! Yeah, and up top there, that's just D.Va kind of being let loose in that top line. But Speedglass is the only one to go down. Here's the ult from Lunar. It's gonna create space, and I mean, during that ult, Saint got somebody, but Saint goes down at the same time, and it's Orisa left to fight by themselves as they have their team back off. Their front line goes down, and Syracuse just going to try and get some damage off, try and be a nuisance, but that point is going to be lost.
That just hurts to watch. They were on that objective with 4 ultimates. You have to wonder what the secret sauce was for Nebraska to actually be able to squeak through and get all of those kills. I think that Q's just got a little bit too comfortable. I think that's what we saw there. And we see a D.Va ult.
That's a I need my mech now kind of ult. And I mean, it kind of worked. Fancy able to pick off Azer, who was in a rough situation trying to get away from that bomb, but they lost their own support in that fight. Yeah. Sometime going to get speed glasses in the backline. The Echo swap, kind of interesting, as Saint going to get one more. There's been a sharpshooter all throughout this game. And oh no, that is the wrong place for the D.Va. Gets stuck in the wall against the nanoed Orisa. Push forward in that backline, and they're kind of just stuck defending in this bar. I mean, again, this is just chaos in this part of the map, always.
Waiting for reinforcements, because we're waiting for our teams and our players to still get respawned at this point. But now we're getting a speed boost to get us out of that really sticky situation. We're now starting to see some swaps on the side of Syracuse. I think as of right now, we're just waiting. Farah is just waiting to get a good ult off, because I think that they are getting really counterpicked right now in this scenario. And they have a good hit scan on the side of Nebraska. I think there might need to be a time to switch off.
Yeah, that Tracer swap and that D.Va swap. I was a bit skeptical of the D.Va swap, but it's worked out. I mean, when you carve your niche out, as long as you do the right thing, it's going to work. And I mean, the D.Va's right there. That's a great shot. Oh my gosh. Yeah, here it is. Going to be the ult probably right here in a moment. No, going to push back.
Gotta wait for that defense matrix.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but also I think they just know they've won the push entirely here. Oh my goodness, into the back line.
And D.Va's having to go retreat back into spawn so she can regroup with her team.
Very good job from the Orange there. That's about all you can say there. Got the picks where you needed to get them, got the back line again, and Syracuse just pushing forward repeatedly. Back up top is Azer trying to fight up top with that Tracer. He does not want to die here, almost has Pulse Bomb. A very hard ult to pull off, but it's game-changing when it does work out. You can just get rid of a support out of an equation instantaneously with the right Q hit.
Yeah, and it's really hard for the side. Oh, there it is, and
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
that's just justice there for Syracuse on that right side. Azer going to get 2 and a mech in that equation. Lunar goes down as well.
And we have someone sneaking in the back line.
Oh my gosh, back cap from Tracer. Syracuse tries not to C9. They did hear it in time.
Which is good.
That's being comfortable, but yeah, there's a pest in that back line, and I guess that's... This is just a stagger from the Tracer if they can't get back. It's a bit tough. I mean, I don't know.
The Tracer does have ultimate, so it could be a positioning thing. They do have to keep in mind on the side of Syracuse that we do have a Tracer in our back line. They don't know necessarily that they have the ult, but if that Tracer can get a good ult, then it might be the pick.
Yeah, the Echo ult there just dominates Syracuse. 2 tanks versus 1. It's always going to be a better equation, but Lunar holding their own.
No one's on the point.
Yeah, unfortunately, everyone on the point died at that point.
There we go.
Lunar goes back, tries to get something off point, has no health, no healers, goes down to Big Z, the Brig on the Nebraska Lincoln side. That's a good push. Syracuse has always kind of struggled on that initial defense, but this is where they've really made their money. It's been a cash grab from this point on. Syracuse, once it gets down to the end, kind of just take over. They've got that clutch factor here.
And we do see a swap of Azer from Farah onto Tracer, so we're now seeing a Tracer-Tracer matchup. And we do see a swap on the side of Nebraska towards the Widowmaker, so I'm really curious to see what the Widowmaker's got going on. Is she going to be able to get some good headshots and take some good picks for her team?
Yeah, it's a counter pick tracer as D.Va ult comes out here. Saint gonna try and dash, does dash out of the way. Very good job, Jackson, pushing forward on that left side. Nobody caught by that D.Va ult. There's been some questionable uses from the Nebraska side, but the D.Va overall has been very good. Kind of just using that ult as a, I need my mech back at the soonest notice, and Lunar also has switched into that ult, or switched into that position as well with the D.Va counter pick.
Yes, we're seeing some good tempo on both sides as of right now. I do want to see what the action is between the Ashe versus the Widowmaker, if they're going to be able to actually get some space there, because the Widowmaker is threatening, like, stagnation in that main lane that people are fighting in at the moment. The beat goes off and saves the mech.
Very big for Syracuse there as Azer still able to stay alive, as well as Lunar keeps the mech for a little bit longer but goes down in the ultimate. Shromo able to get there. The Syracuse does not really need to respect those Widowmaker's sightlines. She hasn't been able to hit those shots in big positions, and I think respecting that sightline has done bad for them in a way. I saw Wrecker for like 5 seconds there, but back to D.Va we go. Lunar pushed forward, trying to get on point. Last 7 seconds, they've got a contest here in them trying to get an ult, trying to get anything off here, pushing back with Defense Matrix. It's a all-out ham on point, and unfortunately, I think...
And it looks like right now, where I'm watching from across the venue, they are still online.
It's D.Va pushing forward, it's still overtime. That's going right on that other side. Hello.
And they're able to hold the objective.
They've still got it for now. Looks like they're going to be able to.
And they were able to
hold
it.
Syracuse able to hold. Round one goes to them, partially 2-0 as they head down to the offensive side. And apologies for the technical difficulties. That was a very good hold from the Orange. And
very unexpected.
I think an ult usage there with Bob, and I believe it would have been ult from Bob, as well as D.Va may have got ult on that other end. Really good start for the Orange. That is exactly what you want to need. I mean, you want to go up in the seeding. You always do. You want to enter that tournament in Las Vegas as the 2 seed, and a 3-0 win would provide that, and that is great. You had the initial steamrolling on the defensive sector. They countered it. You didn't counter it in time, but you got towards the end, and now you're in a position to win it. You go all the way to the end here. You get that final point where they didn't. They're going to win, and that's going to be exactly what the Orange are going to go for here initially. Really good setup from the Orange, and I think they've been better on the offensive side, to be honest with you. Excuse me, have had those initial offensive struggles, but go down, when you get down to it, you get down to the end, the Orange are able to collect themselves and to get back into the game, and when they really need to. Overtime has been just, I mean, again, you saw it there. Well, you heard it there. Syracuse has been just
it was great.
Beautiful. I can't even stress enough how excited I am to see this team in overtime. Hopefully, when you get down to the Sin City, I hope they make a lot of noise. This is not their last time playing Overwatch, obviously. Before they go next weekend, they'll be at the RIT, at an RIT LAN in person. I don't know what it's called, to be honest with you, unfortunately. The Tigers are hosting that in Rochester, of course, and they're going to get some more competitive play before they get down, or rather, go down to Las Vegas with the team, and it's going to be beautiful. I'm so excited. It's going to be cinema. It's going to be cinema.
We got a new match for us here from going into the second half. We do see the Farah pick again. Oh, and the D.Va closes out that kill. I think the Sojourn is just going to be a little bit too much hit marker.
Oh.
Damn it. Oh.
Yeah, that's just damage there on that right end. Is backing off as Lunar pushing forward is just the entire team on that other side. They go for that long distance approach now, and that's what they were going for, what they saw at the start of last game. They wanted to replicate that, but no change happened, no halftime adjustment for Nebraska, and you have to kind of account for that. I mean, I don't think they were really expecting Nebraska to stay with what they were, but Nebraska thought it worked, so they're going to stay with what they did. They got to 69 meters exactly, and they just need to, they just want to replicate exactly what they did last time, but Syracuse, good ram counter here. Should be a lot here as Azer, uncontested right now, has an opportunity to get one in the back line. Lunar up top, forcing attention their way as the back line going to get contested here with Azer. Pushing down now, Lunar has that D.Va on the ropes. Going forward now, just taking space for Lunar. Gonna just move a little bit more forward, get that shield down. Got to get as much space as you can as the supports come down from up top. D.Va going to go push those supports away. Speed glasses goes down, and that's the tough part about D.Va. So much mobility. You're going to get rid of a DPS up top. Down goes Juno, though. That's a key point to the Syracuse off defense that they're playing. But Lunar and Azer go down, and that's going to be a push win for the other side. Nebraska Lincoln stays alive, and I think Jackson going to try not to stagger here. Nope, she's going to teleport out. That is so much distance on the teleport. Gosh, I did not realize how far that was.
I will say that I wanted to note that their switch was pretty like instantaneous. Once they saw that Pharah and Widowmaker was not going to work, they swapped right over, and they're able to take space really, really quickly and get that point. They're pushing through to try and get some more like cleanup kills, while I do leave a support on the main objective so they can start capturing. And any kind of staggered kills here really, really helps, because that spawn point here is good for this point, but if they die now, their spawn point will be all the way at the back. So trying to get those kills to make space is huge for the side of Syracuse.
Absolutely. You're just trying to get any pick where you can at this stage in the game. They're going to get the payload, obviously, right here. Pulse bomb goes out, gets some damage, gets none overall in terms of the elimination game. Here comes the ult from Saint, though. That's a very good rush. Massive pushing forward from Saint goes down, unfortunately, and the Kiriko rush kind of not going great for the Orange. Losing 2, losing 3. Now as Speed Glasses goes down. And, you know, use support ult. You expect something different, but they matched with 2. And unfortunately, if you are as low as kindergarten, you know 2 is a bit better than 1 if you are at the lunch table just trading cookies.
Oh, and I will say that they were able to kind of lead that exchange really, really good, because 1, they got the objective. 2, they really didn't commit a lot into that push. They only had the Kiriko ult, and they're able to still profit by having 2 ults, as they then put that ult down and start getting massive space, massive kills.
Oh.
And the D.Va ult goes down.
I think that was supposed to be a left shift ult, and I think the left shift may not have been charged. Went back the other way. Saints going to get some time. That's a loss of a DPS on their side. No eliminations for Lunar, but just a complete taking of space. Speed Glasses up top contesting that D.Va. No support. The confidence to beat them. And I guess contest them up top as the D.Va nearly goes down. Here comes the ult, though, from Speed Glasses. That right click has been one of the Orange just beautiful efficiencies when they're on Sojourn. Saint gonna get Big Z. So much space for the Orange as they are just, oh my gosh.
They're sending them back into spawn at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, the Orange were playing stuff that they have not been comfortable or playing that much throughout the early season. And I think they were just trying something a bit new, and they're going back to what they're comfortable here with. A bit of a dive brawl mix comp, I would call it.
Yeah.
And I mean, Syracuse, again, they're playing what they're comfortable with now. They have a perfect opportunity to do so, and they are doing very well with that, as Azer's head nearly got taken off, but they are still alive on that other end. Back towards the team they go now. Syracuse playing it more like a brawl comp, though, with the Tracer going a little bit more around and going on those lings that we talked about earlier at the beginning of this match.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of those off-angle pushes, and as soon as Azer sees that his team is pushing in, he's able to drop from the top ropes and just start cleaning house in that back line.
Lunar.
Oh, my goodness.
That's a clobbering. 3 go down on that ult, rather not even on that ult, on that push from Lunar. Azer, the main proprietor of those. D.Va trying to keep mech up and uses another ult at an inopportune time, and as they head towards the last checkpoint, their D.Va's going to have no ult charge. Needs to be more careful about that self-detonation usage.
On the prior half for Nebraska, they were pushing into this second point with only 1:40 left. Q's is pushing into this with 2 minutes. They have a sizable percentage advantage here.
3 minutes.
3 minutes.
So much more.
Oh, even more.
Yeah.
Even more.
I cannot even stress enough how good they are at Kings Row, and it's, I believe, their best map, but I mean, I don't even know if they believe that, to be honest, but it just happened to be where they played the best so far this season. Obviously, there's a lot of scrims, a lot of things that go on behind closed doors. Tracer nearly goes down, but stays around. Brig on the ult goes down. That's a huge loss for the Nebraska side. The ult comes down. Beat go off for Max there. Really good ult there. Keeps everybody alive, themselves mainly. Keeps supporting the right angle as Tracer goes down, and Syracuse nearing the end, less than 10 meters away from the end of this game. Speed Glasses has that ult up top. They're going to use it. Hit the D.Va, leave it to the rest of the team, trying to make sure no other can get on and contest. D.Va alone with no supports. Rather, there is one support on that back end, but D.Va
it's just baby D.Va on the point right now.
Gonna get melted by that Sojourn ult if they don't do anything about it. Sojourn teleports, but goes down the same. Lunar with the 3K. 2 more on site. They both go down to Azer and Lunar on the clobbering.
Tracer on the point.
Everything they can to keep this contested as it's 3 meters away from a win. Syracuse pushing forward. 0.3 meters to go, and they will get it. Syracuse up 2-0 on Nebraska-Lincoln.
That was absolutely incredible. They came into that second point with a total of 3 minutes left on the clock, and they could not be stopped. There was nothing that they could really do to keep that momentum. They were on the pain train, and they were just sending it to its delivery point.
And no stops on that one there. Azer Speed Glasses get that 2K here. Azer with the play of the game. What a shot. Saw that from the Orissa's perspective in-game.
And the snipe from the back line. Oh my goodness. And that was just an incredible show of skill right there. Just that incessant push and just constant pressure. What you were saying earlier was entirely correct. It was like a hybrid brawl comp, a bit of a dive, and it was just perfect in every sense of the word.
It's playing on something they're not used to, a more long distance comp, and they did a really good job on it. Widowmaker obviously was a bit tough on the offensive angle. You're trying to get a pick from up top, and sometimes you got to move forward, and they play like that. Widow had to, went down, immediately switched. And Syracuse not worrying about switching. They don't really they know what they need to do. It's a very smart team, and that's obviously for one of your favorite casters if you've been watching Rocket League all season, Ryan Blankenhorn. He's the coach there, if you were unfamiliar, despite how many times I say it on broadcast. But he's the coach. He's making a lot of these calls. He's a very intelligent coach, and that's why you see this team switching when they need to. A lot of these things, Ryan used to play a lot himself at a high level, very high level. And I mean, you're seeing that rub off on these younger players on the collegiate level. I mean, you just got to love it here. And, I mean, this is that long distance range we were talking about and how well that is on that offensive end. Lunar just mashing and clobbering in their back line, it feels like, with Azer.
And they do have a lot of just, tempo. They have such good tempo. When they realize that they have kind of failed on a push, then they're able to pull back and scale back that attack. But when they see that they get an opening, their shout caller's calling it. They're saying go in. They're calling the targets. They're choosing who they need to be going in on, and they're really closing out a lot of those really important kills.
Yeah, I mean it's flat out beautiful. I mean you love it when it works well. It looks great. That's Ryan right there. You're seeing in that orange hoodie. He's a Syracuse Orange coach. If you did know that, that is the school we're at. So obviously Orange versus Cornhuskers. It's kind of it's a battle of the foods tonight, and you don't get that too often in college sports. Not many colors. And you have the crimson sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, Crimson Tide, that's just an elephant. But a lot of fun in this last Power Esports Conference game. I'm going to miss the season over the summer. I obviously have things I'm doing over the summer, but I think the biggest thing I'm going to miss is the Power Esports Conference. It's so much fun. I love it. I love it too much.
Well, we're going to be seeing it in the fall, and I'm really excited to see how, once we get through these finals, I'm not going to make any inclinations of what the Power Esports finals are going to look like in Vegas. I know they're going to be incredible and amazing.
Because you should tune in.
Of course you should.
Weekend of April 4th.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I know everyone's super excited to get there. But I'm also really excited to see how things grow and change as we go into that fall season as well, because everyone's going to be sitting in the summertime, getting ready and getting hype for that fall season as well. So we're really looking forward to it here at Q's.
Yeah, you're going to play a lot with your team, obviously, over the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Some of these teams are going to go to LAN. Some of them won't. It's LANs. They'll all compete together and learn together and scrim. I mean, it's a commitment for these athletes. These are varsity athletes who are giving their time commitment to the school and giving their time commitment to compete. And this is what you're seeing is a culmination of that. Every week it feels like these teams are getting better, especially on our side. Our school puts in the effort. Everybody on our team, they put in the effort. They do the scrims. They show up on time. Well, show up on time. They show up when they need to. And I mean it's esports. We love showing 5 minutes early. 5 minutes early, everybody. I got to get that down pat for. I feel like everybody hits sometimes, but it's a beautiful thing to see how these teams improve so much. They give so much effort, and I cannot stress that enough how hard they work. As if you remember last week we casted Overwatch, if you saw Saint Jackson in the background, he's actually looking at us right where I'm looking at you right now. He's right behind the camera, showing the love to the booth as usual. Really love the support we get from this Overwatch team.
Yeah.
One of the more fun ones. They know that they keep us very late most of the time. Game 5, 3 streams in a row, I believe, or at least game 4.
Oh,
we're out of here by 11 normally. So I mean, this would be the fastest Overwatch game of the year. If they could get this last one here, it would move them up to the 2 seed as well.
Yeah, and Carson, I think it's just them telling you that they appreciate you and they love you very much. But I also got to say, I think that one of the awesome things we're starting to see as well, in this season, is that we have so much team synergy that's being built. We do have some students that are new to the university that are transferring in. We do have some students that have been recruited, and it's really cool to see all the students coming together and building those really good team synergies. And we're only going to see those things improve and increase year by year as we start to see those esports legacies.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and if you are just tuning in now for the first time or a new viewer of this stream like the last few months, keep tuning in, keep watching. You're going to see this program take leaps and bounds forward, and I mean they already are. That's this team right here was 1-6 in the fall, I believe, or 1-5 in the fall, and I mean they've turned it around entirely. They're 4-2, looking to compete at the 2nd seed once they head to the Sin City, and I mean. This shows you how well they turned it around. They knew they were better than how they played in the fall. They put in the work over winter break, And I'm really excited to see what these players who aren't graduating. I don't believe there's one player graduating, I believe, from the Syracuse starting roster. I'm really excited to see how they do once they're in Vegas and what they do beyond college and what they do beyond, this year. We've obviously got more to come.
Yeah, and I'm really, really excited to see all this. I'm really looking forward to all the great stuff we got going on, and I'm honestly excited to see some more Azer gameplay. I want to see some more of that hit scan. I want to see him hit all of the shots and maybe land a pulse bomb. I think I want to see that today. That's on my bucket list.
If I see a
pulse bomb,
tracer, just one.
If I see a tracer, I think I'll be happy.
Well, like a tracer land a pulse bomb. Also, if I do see a tracer, I will be happy. But the two bans on Coliseo, a fairly common one, Mauga goes out the window, as well as Ana, prevents that long distance healing, forces your healers to kind of move forward, and that's the ban from that other end. Syracuse is going to be the ones who banned Mauga, yes, adding the second ban, and Ana was banned from that other side. They've obviously seen something with that Ana that they've seen earlier from Jackson, as well as Max. But Max turned 20 recently, 20 last week, 2 weeks ago.
Well, happy birthday, happy belated birthday from the casting booth.
The casting booth. I think we said it about 6 times.
I keep saying it.
I keep saying it. It's not even his birthday anymore, and that's the beautiful thing. But Mauga obviously really contentious on this map. It's a good ban by Syracuse. They fell on the hands of a Mauga last time. Because they just could not take the space. Their Mauga wasn't, I guess, competing well with theirs. This is a different situation. I think you know that your Mauga can beat their Mauga. It's already happened in a lot of scenarios. Syracuse takes the space. Syracuse has been very nice in certain of these situations, but, gotta love it. Gotta love how good this team has been and how much they've, I guess, bonded the team's energy, like you mentioned. Yeah,
and I think, the Mauga was probably one of the best tank, I hate to say this, but I think it was one of the best tank showings from Nebraska, so I'm really interested to see what Nebraska's going to pull out here for their tank pick on this here map.
Yeah, you have to kind of just think, if you're Nebraska right now, I'm at a disadvantage, flat out. It feels like a little bit. You're not playing what you want to play. Maybe you do want to play it, maybe you don't, but you know it's your best option, and you know that is what you would like to do.
Yeah.
And if you were looking for the best showing, Mauga, you kind of got steamrolled towards the end. It fell apart at the end of that first map there.
Yeah, and I think that we're seeing a unique pick for the side of Nebraska.
Oh boy.
Is that a Roadhog?
In 2025? Goodness.
Oh boy. If it is, I am actually insanely excited because I have not even seen what the kind of comps would be for a Roadhog pick. But no
dubious. They matched Syracuse's last and literally entirely the entire team comp on that other side, as Syracuse is going to go with a bit of a new team comp. Jono obviously going to be played, and that's going to put a major disadvantage. Oh, major disadvantage on the other side for. Saint's going to have that ult, and you can't do anything now if you're on the side of Nebraska. 2 support ults basically equal 1 there. You have Lucio ult and the Juno ult go out. You're basically going to win that almost every time. But the Lucio ult, very powerful. We'll see how that contentious as we go down towards the ult phase. But the initial contest skirmish going on right at the middle of point. And this is why they banned Mauga. He basically wins every time here if you have it and they don't.
That is just the character that you use to be making space for your team. So we already see some big picks on the side of Syracuse. The hit scans are honestly just too good. The support damage is also amazing, and we're able to just close space and get the kills that we need as we start to then push that robot towards.
That's a big stagger with 2 locked in that back end there towards the Syracuse site. But that is, I think that's why they banned Mauga. Ram, they can't really match the Ram in terms of Syracuse. Nebraska has been able to match the Ram by switching into Mauga, and I think that's what they were going for. They knew they were going to start off on Ram, and by starting them not off on Mauga,
they have a tank in their back line.
Exactly. That's this one kind of speaks for itself. Aurora who goes down as Max goes down as well, but matches it with the loss of their support. Right end, Stromo goes down, and Syracuse just going to keep it going. That's another team kill, and very early going to likely get that forward spawn. And Syracuse is rolling with only 1 ult on their side. They've barely got it started.
We do see a lot of percentage, though, starting to roll in for the side of Syracuse, but Nebraska's also looking pretty healthy on their percentages. So if they can actually get some tempo here back towards their side, then they might have a chance of being able to kind of pull us back for their side. Lunar was getting in a really tight space.
Gosh. And that goes right into the supports and how good they've been all night. Just keeping Lunar alive despite being in a in a tiny little space for 4 players, and that's going to be the ult there from the Nebraska Lincoln side, the Kitsune Rush. A lot of damage going out from them, but they're out damaged. Saint and Max get one as Saint's ult kind of neutralizes the Kiriko Rush there. Lunar going to get one more, and it's a 4-on-1, 4-on-none. Rather, as some time goes down, rather no 4-on-1 again.
In the back line
Now
gets staggered. So incredibly staggered from the rest of his team, so that respawn timer, both DPS are down the side of Nebraska, but they do respawn relatively quickly. Hopefully can get their team back together as Hughes is pushing that robot ever so closer to the side of Nebraska.
That's halfway now. Forward spawn for the Orange, and they're only 3 minutes into this game. Azer going to be in the ult entirely in the back line, forces the attention away from the point, and here's a counter ult from their Ram. Ram going to get one in form of Azer, but Lunar got one of their supports. Back in the other end, second support goes down for Lunar. Really good start for the Orange on this pick, and there's nothing they can do. You can't get healed. And I mean, unless you're going to somehow put out more damage than 2 supports, you're not going to be able to. But those supports did go down for the Orange. This is looking a little bit better as the supports come back for the other side. That's really good from Nebraska, but Lunar just taking control of this game.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't matter. Goodness.
You know, the first game we were worried about Azer in the back line. Second game, you have to be afraid of the tank in your back line. Is not something I thought I would be saying.
We've got Metal Gear Omnic. Now with Ram here just in the back line entirely, like you just mentioned. It's just like, you have to do it better here, but the Dragon Blade could turn the tides for the Cornhuskers, and it's gone. Jackson able to deal with Romo in just a few moments there. Unable to get rid of Juno was that, and Syracuse almost back with another Juno ult, and basically get a free push here if they can keep it together, but halfway towards it after that forward point, 75% done is Syracuse.
And what a dash into the back line. Closing out the supports. They're both dead. Whole team is dead. Nebraska has to be looking at this saying, what are we supposed to do? There's no ults for our side. There's nothing we can do, and we have one more ult in our back pocket to be pulling out.
And Widowmaker is the pick for them there. They're going to try and just get a pick, get rid of someone is the goal on that one, but Saint has the ult. They're going to use it, and should be real easy, real pickings if you are Orange here, because they have nothing they can respond with, and that's exactly it. Azer gets one, Speedglasses gets one, and Saint gets one. A little something for everybody. On that other end is Big Z goes down as well, and Lucio, team kill. Orange win 3-0. They are your 2 seed in Las Vegas, and that's a fun win to have in the Power Esports Conference as you head down to the Sin City.
Oh my goodness. I felt like that map, I blinked and I could have missed it. Like, the tempo was just incredible. There was one team fight that I think that Nebraska really thought that they had a plan where they had committed ults to go to a fight. Lunar just took a step back and disengaged. He said, you can use your ults. I'm not going to be involved with that. And he took a step back. He didn't die, and we got a win.
I mean, you saw a support play of the game there. That's just kind of that's a testament to why Syracuse won this game. Their backline was defended, operational, and healing almost all of the time. And when Syracuse didn't have that backline, they fought hard, they took picks off, they made sure they staggered, made sure that they were not comfortable on that other end there. A really good showing. And
they were able to peel for their supports. So even when Lunar was going in and taking a lot of damage and their supports were committing to helping, whenever the supports were starting to get some heat, Syracuse is able to fall back on itself and start to actually protect their supports, protect their healers, and make sure that they could still keep that momentum forward, because it's not just about going forward, it's about keeping what you have in place.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good win. It's a good team win to move on. We talk a lot about momentum. There's 2 types of momentum in these games. The momentum of what you're actually playing and your mental momentum. I mean, in Valorant, that's money momentum, so I guess 3 there. But it's all down to that, and it's all comes down to how you feel. It's a unique experience in esports that you're kind of in your own head the entire time, and it's all up to what you're thinking in terms of how you play, how well you succeed. And for Syracuse, then that's a good motivation booster, despite how, I mean, some of the season has gone in the fall. They replied massively in the spring. They finished 4-2. Their only 2 losses coming to the 3 seed now of Kansas and the 1 seed of Boise State. As they head down towards Vegas, I mean, things are looking good.
Yeah, I think that they're really excited. This win is going to be giving them the momentum they really need to start kind of prepping and getting themselves mentally ready for the Power Esports Conference Finals down in Sin City. So I think that this win was really something that gave them the momentum they needed, and I think that we're going to see some really awesome stuff as we get into that finals.
Yeah, and I mean, next time you're going to see this team, it's going to be somewhere down there, obviously, of course, in that section there. But Syracuse has been beautiful. I mean, you like to see just how well they played in terms of everything. You want to see that more from this team who you saw play in that fall. And if you were watching, it didn't seem like everything was all there together. They were really, they could get those pushes. They would have them on the other team on the ropes, and they just couldn't put it together. But there's one thing to note. There's only 2 teams that took a game off of Boise State, who was that 1 seed, 7-0, 6-0 in the spring, sorry. And the only 2 teams to take games off them was Kansas and Syracuse, I believe. Maybe Ohio State. That might be totally wrong. I don't know. But I know Syracuse took it off, and that's a pretty big standing.
Yeah.
I mean, Boise State is that favorite to win, and you know that. And you hope down in Vegas that you get a Lanimal experience. And, I mean, Boise, one of the most experienced teams on those stages. We'll see how they play. But I'm taking one quick moment at the replays here. St. who obviously had that play of the game, a huge piece of tonight's matchup and a huge piece of Coliseum.
Yeah, and we got to really see the tank player absolutely go ham on the back line, which is a statement I really never thought I would be saying about just some insane tank play. But again, I think, what we had kind of already said before, the tank play is just a reflection of the just support of that amazing tank play.
Yeah, I mean, you're in a closet there, Lunar, with 4 other players on the other team, and you're playing Street Fighter. He's just in there punching and punching and punching and swinging and swinging and swinging, and it's a beautiful thing to see on that end. And I mean, you got to respect it for the orange. It's a good feeling, but I think that's going to take us right down to the end here. The next time you'll see me and this team, it'll be in the entertainment capital of the world. I'm Carson Cass. Been with me tonight is Meg Danaher, and thank you so much for filling in.
Yeah.
But that's going to be all from us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning into these Power Esports Conference games and everything that's been on throughout the season. We appreciate the support so much. Please tune in whenever there's another stream. There's more to come throughout this year. This is not the end of our streams this year, so please keep updating. Please look at the social media as we go. But it's been lovely. Thank you very much, and good night.